Jeff, let's talk about over-normalization.
Okay, we've got some rules that we have to follow. We've gone through those rules and we've got to a state of, let's say, third normal form. Sometimes it's good to break the rules. Now, kids, if you're watching this, you don't never break the rules. Let's say, in our system, it may be better occasionally to not follow the rules to the absolute degree. So let's go through an example here. You're a salesperson in our company, let's say.
Okay.
And you have a business address. So we need to have that business address in there for invoices to be sent to and so on. So what's the zip code?
The zip code is 98052.
Okay, so from that zip code, we can pretty much get close to where you are, and then you probably need a building number, and that's it.
That's right.
I would imagine.
Yep.
Same in the UK, definitely. That's what you need. But I would also quite like to have your street address, your city, state, country as well. Now, you could argue, in normalization terms, that we shouldn't be storing that information because the country is dependent on the state is dependent on the city is dependent on the zip code. Those all break normalization rules.
Sure.
Imagine, though, if we followed those rules to the nth degree, we would have to have tables that store each of those things. We'd have to have a state table, we'd have to have a country table.
There's only 50 states, though.
There are 50 states in the US.
Oh, right.
So then we've got every country in the world, we've got every city in every state or region, in every country, in the entire world,
Right.
stored in tables. So actually, sometimes you'll think that's worthwhile because actually we've only got 10 locations. But if we've got potentially infinite customers and infinite different locations, we have to store that information somewhere. And actually, it might be easier to say, okay, I'd like the customer, when they place an order, just to put in their details, their address. And that way it would work more efficiently. And we don't want to over-normalize the system. So there is an element where you have to think, okay, these are the rules, but actually I'm going to use my own judgment to say that's not necessarily effective to do that. And actually I want to break or bend some of those rules to say, actually, we don't necessarily need to. There is a dependency there, but it wouldn't actually give us any benefit.
And it sounds like it's a bit of a judgment call based on the design of the overall system. If you want to normalize and have a unique table for the entity, or only have that as an attribute in a different table. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it is a judgment call. That's absolutely right. I mean, sometimes you're going to think, well, in that address example, I said, if we've got 10 sites for our business, then maybe actually we could say that's fixed. There are only 10 sites. There will only ever be 10 sites. We don't have to worry about a city in Papua New Guinea because we're not going to have a site there, and it's fine. But we need to pragmatically think, well, what would be the situation when I've got customers, it's an internet-based company, we could have customers anywhere in the world. Then we get to this situation where actually you've got not infinite, but near infinite numbers of different addresses. And pragmatically, we would say, okay, it doesn't strictly meet third normal form, but actually if we did, we would end up over-normalizing it. And we're looking for performance all the time, really. We can get a system that runs to our requirements and as quickly as possible, and that's normally the best thing.
Got it. So consider duplication, consider performance, and use good judgment so that you don't over-normalize.
Absolutely.